The door clicked shut behind me like the hammer of a judge's gavel, sealing me into the sterile silence of room 1408 at the Plaza Hotel. I collapsed onto the edge of the king-sized bed. My tie loosened like a noose I'd finally slipped, and that's when I heard it, the soft rustle of starched fabric from the adjoining bathroom, a shadow flickering under the door like a ghost I'd forgotten to exorcise. "Sir, you forgot to hang the 'Do Not Disturb' sign," came the voice, low and accented with the warm lilt of someone who'd crossed borders long ago, and before I could choke out a response, the knob turned, and Michael stepped in, his dark eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that pinned me there, exposed. He was the housekeeper I'd barely noticed that morning, broad-shouldered, with calloused hands that spoke of years scrubbing away other people's messes, his name tag crooked on his crisp white shirt like an afterthought. But now, in the fading afternoon light slanting through the heavy drapes, he wasn't just staff, he was a force, holding a half-folded towel like a white flag of surrender, his gaze stripping me bare faster than any boardroom stare-down ever could. "David," he said, my name rolling off his tongue like he'd rehearsed it in the quiet hours before dawn. "You look like hell." "Let me help," I laughed, a bitter bark that echoed off the marble floors, because help was the last thing I wanted, or so I thought. My marriage had imploded that very day in a sterile conference room downtown, Emily's words slicing deeper than any prenup clause. "I can't pretend anymore, David. Not with you. Not with anyone." She'd found the emails, the late-night texts to faceless men on apps I'd sworn were just curiosity. And now here I was, 32 and unraveling in a five-star cage, the city of New York pulsing indifferently outside. Michael didn't move, just stood there, towel dangling from his fingers, his brown skin glowing under the lamp's amber hue, waiting for the fracture lines in me to spiderweb out. "What the fuck are you doing in here?" I snapped, but there was no venom in it, only exhaustion, the kind that makes your bones ache. He didn't flinch. Instead, he crossed the room in 3 deliberate steps, the carpet muffling his work boots, and knelt before me, knelt like some medieval supplicant, his knees sinking into the plush weave. Close, I could smell him, clean soap undercut with sweat, the faint spice of cologne he'd probably saved for months. "I've seen you every morning this week," he murmured, his voice a rumble that vibrated through the space between us. "Pacing like a caged lion, phone glued to your ear, yelling at shadows. Whatever's breaking you. It doesn't have to." His hand, rough, capable, reached for my ankle, not to untie my shoe, but to steady me, thumb pressing just above the cuff of my slacks in a spot that sent an unwelcome jolt up my spine. I jerked back, heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape. "Get out," I whispered, but it came out wrong, laced with something needy I hadn't heard in my own voice since college, since that fumbling night with a roommate I'd buried under layers of denial. Michael didn't budge. His eyes, deep pools of unspoken stories, held mine, and in that beat of silence, the world narrowed to the heat of his palm seeping through fabric, the way his lips parted as if to confess a sin we'd both already committed in our minds. Before I knew it, his fingers were tracing the seam of my pants, not insistent, but exploratory, like he was mapping fault lines in unfamiliar terrain. "Let me," he said again, softer now, and God help me, I did. The towel dropped forgotten to the floor as he rose slightly, his free hand cupping my jaw, tilting my face to his. His kiss wasn't gentle. It was a collision, lips firm and tasting of mint gum and quiet rebellion, his stubble scraping my skin like sandpaper on silk. I gasped into his mouth, hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer even as my brain screamed to push away. This was madness. A hotel room confessional where sins weren't absolved but amplified. And in that moment, alone with a stranger who'd seen my unraveling from the shadows, everything I'd armored myself against cracked wide open. We tumbled back onto the bed, a tangle of limbs and half-uttered protests. His uniform shirt unbuttoning under my frantic fingers to reveal a chest etched with tattoos, roses entwined with barbed wire, a testament to borders crossed and loves lost. Michael's breath hitched as I traced the ink with my thumb, his body arching into the touch like he'd been starving for it. "David," he groaned, my name a prayer on his lips, and I silenced him with another kiss, deeper this time, tongues clashing in a rhythm that drowned out the distant honk of taxis below. His hands were everywhere, unbuckling my belt with practiced ease, sliding under my shirt to map the planes of my stomach, igniting nerves I'd ignored for years. It wasn't just sex, it was a reckoning. As he peeled away my layers, pants shoved down, boxers following in a hurried whisper, I felt exposed in ways Emily's accusations never touched. Michael's mouth trailed fire down my neck, nipping at collarbone and nipple until I was writhing, curses spilling from me like confessions. "Fuck. Michael. Don't stop," I begged, and he didn't, his lips descending lower, hot and insistent, taking me in with a reverence that bordered on worship. The room spun, the city lights blurring into streaks through the window as pleasure coiled tight in my gut, building to a crescendo that shattered me. I came with a cry that echoed his name, body shuddering as he held me through it, his own arousal pressed hard against my thigh, unaddressed but electric. When the haze cleared, we lay there, sweat-slicked and panting, the air heavy with the musk of us. Michael propped himself on an elbow, his smile crooked, vulnerable. That wasn't in the job description," he quipped, but his eyes searched mine, probing for regret. I didn't have any, not yet. Instead, I pulled him down, rolling us so I straddled him, hands working his zipper with a boldness I didn't recognize. "Your turn," I murmured, and as I freed him, thick and straining in my grip, something shifted. This wasn't escape. It was awakening, two men adrift in the American dream's underbelly, finding harbor in each other's arms. We moved together then, unhurried, exploring with the tentative hunger of first times reclaimed. My mouth on him, tentative at first, then greedy, drawing moans that vibrated through his chest like thunder. He tasted of salt and secrets, his fingers threading through my hair, guiding without demanding. When he spilled over my tongue, it was with a broken Spanish oath, "Dios mío, David," his body bowing off the bed in release. We collapsed, entwined, the sheets a battlefield of our making. As twilight bled into night, conversation trickled in like rain after drought. Michael was 35, from El Salvador, papers in order after a decade of odd jobs from LA to New York. Divorced, no kids, the kind of man who'd learned to love quietly because shouting it got you deported or worse. "I saw you the first day," he admitted, tracing lazy circles on my chest. "Suit too tight, eyes too hollow." Thought, that guy's carrying the weight of the world. Wanted to fix it. I laughed. Told him about Emily, the merger gone south, the closet I'd cracked open too late. Vulnerability hung between us, fragile as the city fog rolling in. But dawn crept in too soon, gray light filtering through the curtains like an unwelcome witness. Michael dressed with quiet efficiency, rebuttoning his shirt, smoothing the name tag. "I shouldn't have," he started, but I cut him off with a kiss, soft and lingering. "You did. And it was right." He slipped me his number on a torn housekeeping slip, as promising more. "Call me. Or don't." But no, this changed me too. He left, the door clicking shut again, leaving me alone with the echo of his touch. I stared at the ceiling, the city's hum resuming outside, wondering if I'd just traded one cage for another or found the key. The days blurred after that. Work pulled me back. Endless calls, spreadsheets that blurred into nightmares. But Michael's text lit my phone like a flare. "Coffee? The diner on 5th. 7 p.m. I went, heart pounding like a kid on prom night. He was there in jeans and a faded Yankees tee, looking less like staff and more like the man who'd haunted my dreams. Over burnt coffee and greasy eggs, we talked, not about the hotel, but dreams. His opening a taqueria in Brooklyn. Legit. No more folding sheets for the elite. Mine. Ditching corporate for something real. Maybe writing the stories I'd shelved since undergrad. It escalated fast, the way New York romances do, fueled by adrenaline and anonymity. Stolen hours in his cramped Queens walk-up, where the bed sagged under our weight and the neighbors banged on walls we ignored. Laughter mingled with gasps. His body a landscape I memorized. The scar on his hip from a border crossing gone wrong. The way he whispered poetry in Spanish when he thought I slept. "Eres mi soul," he'd murmur, "you're my son," and I'd pretend not to hear, afraid of what it meant. But shadows loomed. Emily filed papers, her lawyer circling like a shark, demanding assets I'd poured my soul into. Colleagues whispered, the merger teetered, and Michael's shifts stretched longer, his exhaustion carving lines around his eyes. "It's nothing," he'd say, brushing off questions. But I saw the bruises, faint, yellowing on his ribs one night. "Boss got handsy with the cart," he lied, and I let it slide, too tangled in my own unraveling to push. Weeks turned to months, our rhythm sinking like the subway's relentless pulse. David and Michael, two syllables that fit together better than puzzle pieces, though the world conspired to pry us apart. We carved out pockets of normalcy. Sunday brunches at hole-in-the-wall spots in the village, where drag queens catcalled us over mimosas. Lazy afternoons in Central Park, his head on my lap as I read aloud from dog-eared Kerouac, his fingers drumming beats on my knee. It felt American as apple pie laced with rebellion, two guys against the grind, flipping off the picket fence. Yet cracks spiderwebbed. One night, after a particularly brutal board meeting where my distraction got called out, I stormed into the hotel bar, 3 whiskeys deep, spotting Michael wiping down tables in the back. He clocked me immediately, weaving through patrons with that easy grace, pulling me into the alley for a smoke. "Rough day?" he asked, lighting my cigarette with a Zippo engraved M+J09, his ex, I guessed, the ghost in his tattoos. "Worse," I admitted, exhaling smoke that curled like my regrets. "They think I'm slipping. Because of us." The word hung heavy, untested. Michael's face tightened, jaw clenching under the neon buzz. "Then end it. Before it ends you." His words landed like a slap, but his eyes, fuck, those eyes, betrayed the bluff, pleading for me to fight. I didn't. Instead, I crushed the cig under my heel and yanked him close, kissing him fierce against the brick wall, the taste of ash and desperation mingling. We fucked right there, pants shoved down just enough, his back scraping mortar as I thrust into him, raw and urgent, muffling his moans with my mouth. It was reckless, the alley reeking of garbage and possibility, sirens wailing distant applause. When we finished, slumped against each other, he laughed. Low, broken. Your trouble, David. The best kind. Trouble found us anyway. Emily's divorce dragged. Her texts venomous. Heard you're slumming it. Careful. Darling, reputation's a bitch. I blocked her, but paranoia gnawed. At work, glances lingered too long. A client pulled out after rumors. Michael, meanwhile, grew distant, canceling plans with excuses about overtime. One evening, I tailed him after his shift. Jealousy a poison I'd never tasted before. Watching from my rental car as he slipped into a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, emerging hours later with a guy, tall, blonde, arms slung casual around Michael's shoulders. My gut twisted, betrayal blooming hot and immediate. I confronted him the next morning in his apartment, pounding the door until he opened, bleary-eyed in boxers. Who's the blonde? I demanded, voice cracking like cheap glass. Michael's face drained of color, then flushed with anger. A friend. From the old days. Needed a lone immigration shit. Lies. Or half-truths. His eyes darted. Guilty. Bullshit. I snarled, shoving past him into the kitchen, where takeout containers piled like accusations. I saw you laugh with him. Touch him. The words soured in my mouth, possessive in a way that shamed me. Michael grabbed my arm, spinning me to face him, his grip iron. You don't own me, David. It's fire. Yeah, burns bright, but it'll consume if we let it. His voice broke on the last, and I hated him for it, hated the truth threading through. We argued then, a storm of hurled hurts. My privilege, his pride, my closet, his openness scarred by raids and rejections. You think this is easy? He shouted, gesturing at the peeling wallpaper. Hiding? No, you hide. I'm out here, every day, risking it all. For what? Your weekends. I reeled, the hypocrisy stinging. He was right. I'd kept us compartmentalized. Hotel romps and secret texts, terrified of the label. In the fury, we collided again, not gentle but punishing, nails raking backs, teeth marking skin, a fuck born of rage that left us bruised and spent. Lying there after, his head on my chest, Michael whispered, I love you. You know that. The words slipped out soft, unintended, freezing us both. I swallowed hard, throat tight. Yeah. Me too. It was the first time I'd said it to a man, the syllables foreign yet fitting, like a key turning in a long-locked door. Love didn't mend. It amplified. We tried harder, public dates in queer-friendly spots, my hand in his under cafe tables, ignoring stares. He met my sister over Zoom, her Brooklyn sarcasm thawing his nerves. I tagged along to his family's potluck in Queens, dodging Auntie's matchmaking while stealing kisses in the backyard. But the world pressed in. Michael's boss caught wind, whispers of inappropriate fraternization, and slashed his hours, citing budget cuts that smelled like homophobia. My promotion? Derailed by a leaked email chain, anonymous source painting me as unreliable. The climax brewed on a sweltering July 4th, fireworks cracking over the East River like artillery. We'd planned a rooftop escape, just us, but Michael vanished mid-afternoon. Panic clawed me. I raced to the hotel, bursting into the service elevator, finding his locker ajar, uniform gone. Security waved me off. He's clocked out. But instinct led me to the alley behind the kitchens, where I found him slumped against the dumpster, lips split, eye swelling purple. What the fuck happened? I dropped beside him, hands hovering, afraid to touch. Michael winced, spitting blood onto the concrete. Carlos, the blonde, owed money to the wrong guys. Came to me for help. I said no, but they thought I'd squeal. His laugh was wet, pained. Welcome to my America, David. Not all stars and stripes. Rage boiled, white hot. I hauled him up, half carrying him to my car, speeding to my Upper East Side apartment. First time he'd see it, our worlds colliding messy. Ice packs and stitches later, a discreet ER visit. Cash no questions. He crashed on my couch. Vulnerability raw. You should have called, I murmured, dabbing his brow. He caught my hand, eyes fierce despite the swelling. Didn't want to drag you down. This life. It's not yours to fix. But it is, I insisted. The words a vow. That night, as thunder rumbled distant from the holiday pops, we made love slow, reverent. Every touch a promise, his body yielding under mine like trust rebuilt brick by brick. No rush, just connection, his gasps syncing with my heartbeat, climax a shared sigh that echoed deeper than release. Morning brought clarity, or so I thought. Over coffee, Michael laid it out. I'm quitting. Moving to Philly, cousins got a line on a job at a union hotel. Safer. Cleaner. Philly. 2 hours south. A chasm. Come with me, he added, voice steady but eyes pleading. Leave the suits. The bullshit. Start over. I froze, mug burning my palm. New York was my anchor, career, identity, the illusion of control. Leaving meant admitting failure, leaping into the unknown with a man who'd already lost so much. I can't, I whispered, the lie tasting like ash. Hurt flashed in his eyes, quick buried. Then don't. But no, I'll wait as long as I can. He left that afternoon, duffel slung over his shoulder, a kiss goodbye that lingered like smoke. The apartment echoed empty, fireworks afterglow mocking me from the window. Betrayal? Not his but mine. To myself, choosing safety over soul. Autumn descended on Manhattan like a velvet shroud, gilding the leaves in Central Park while graying my world to monochrome. David's days stretched into a numb routine. Dawn runs along the reservoir to outpace ghosts. Boardrooms where my voice droned on autopilot. Nights nursing bourbon in dimly lit lounges. Scrolling Michael's sparse texts, Philly's rainy. Miss your laugh. I'd reply with emojis, coward's currency, telling myself space was mercy, not abandonment. But mercy's a lie we tell to sleep at night. Whispers followed me at work. The merger finalized without my input. A junior exec, straight, sharp, nipping at my heels for the corner office. Emily's settlement loomed, her lawyer's emails laced with barbs. Living the high life solo? Careful. Habits die hard. I ignored them, but isolation festered. Friends, straight, coupled, tiptoed around my breakup, offering pity platters of advice I didn't want. Date again, they'd say over tapas. Plenty of fish, as if love was a swipe right, not the seismic shift Michael had wrought. One crisp October evening, desperation drove me to a leather bar in Chelsea, the kind with red lights and heavier stairs. I nursed a gin, scanning faces, hollow-eyed twinks, Silver foxes with practiced lines, none igniting that spark, that pull. Then my phone buzzed. In town for interview. Dinner? 8 p.m. Gramercy Tavern. Heart lurching. I bolted, the bar's haze clinging like regret. He looked good, better than good, in a button-down that hugged his frame. Hair trimmed, the Philly polish softening his edges. We hugged awkward at first, then tight, his cologne wrapping me like memory. Over seared scallops and Cabernet, conversation flowed easy. His new gig at a boutique hotel, steady pay, no bullshit boss. My stagnation, as he called it, with a gentle ribbing that coaxed real laughs from me. You're too good for that cage, David, he said, fork pausing midair. Always were. The check came, so did the question, unspoken but electric. Stay? I murmured as we stepped into the chill night, my hand brushing his. He hesitated, breath fogging the air. Can't. Not like this, half in. His honesty gutted me, but we walked anyway, uptown to my place. The city a conspirator with its glowing storefronts and jazz spilling from lofts. At my door, the kiss ignited, slow burn to inferno, keys fumbling as we stumbled inside. Clothes shed in a trail to the bedroom, familiar yet new, his body, leaner from stress, still fit mine like a glove. We explored with rediscovered wonder. My lips on the tattoo I traced 100 times, his fingers mapping scars of my own, emotional, invisible. I missed this, he groaned as I took him deep, slow thrusts building to a rhythm that synced our breaths. He flipped us, entering me with a tenderness that broke something open, pleasure laced with tears I didn't hide. Climax crashed mutual, a wave that left us adrift in sheets, his forehead to mine. Don't let me go again, he whispered. I didn't, not that night. Morning brought pancakes and promises, Michael lingering over coffee, sketching plans on a napkin, me freelancing copy, him advancing at work, a shared lease in a brownstone somewhere green. It sounded like fiction, but his eyes made it real. He extended his stay a week, then 2 interviews be damned. We played house, grocery runs to Whole Foods, Netflix binges with his feet in my lap, sex that spanned from dawn to dusk, lazy and urgent by turns. But paradise has termites. Emily's final hearing loomed, a courtroom in Midtown where she'd eviscerate me for alimony and dignity. Michael offered to come, moral support, but pride bristled. It's my mess, he nodded, but tension simmered. That night, post-fuck glow fading, he checked his phone, face clouding. Carlos again. Says he needs to talk, old debt. The name soured the air. Tell him no. Block him. Michael's jaw set. He's family, sorta. Saved my ass once. Argument brewed. Old wounds reopening. Trust. Boundaries. The immigrant code I couldn't crack. You're choosing him over us? I accused, voice rising. No. I'm choosing not to be the asshole who turns away. We slept back to back. The bed a DMZ. The hearing was a bloodbath. Emily, poised in pearls, spun tales of my infidelity to the judge, emails projected like scarlet letters. I sat stone-faced, signing away half my savings, the gavel's crack echoing Michael's alley beating. Outside, rain lashed the streets. I texted him done. Pick me up? No reply. Hours later, soaked and seething, I cabbed to his hotel, temporary digs near Penn Station, finding the room empty, bed unmade. A note, had to handle Carlos. Back soon. Love. Panic twisted to fury. I waited, pacing, until midnight, when the door opened, not Michael, but Carlos, blonde, smirking, reeking of cheap cologne. "You're the boyfriend," he drawled, eyeing me appraisingly. "Mike's told me." Lots. Before I could retort, Michael stumbled in behind, disheveled, a fresh cut on his cheek. "David, wait." The pieces slammed together. The bruises, the secrecy, the loans. "You're still in with him," I hissed, betrayal ablaid. "Running scams? While I pour everything in." Michael paled. "It's not." He pulled me back in, threatened my family down south. I was buying time. Lies or desperation? Carlos chuckled, slinging an arm around Michael. "Lighten up, pretty boy. We're just hustling the hustlers." I lunged, fist connecting with Carlos's jaw in a crack that shocked us all, then whirled on Michael. "Choose. Now." Silence stretched, rain drumming judgment. Michael's eyes welled, decision carving his face. "You," he said, voice steady. "Always you," Carlos sneered, shoving past, "Your funeral." But Michael grabbed my arm, pulling me into the hall, door slamming final. We didn't speak on the drive back, just held hands white-knuckled over the gearshift. At my place, the fight spilled, accusations, tears, his confession tumbling out, debts from his ex's bad bets, Carlos's help a devil's bargain. I wanted out clean for us. I believed him, the rawness in his voice a bomb. Forgiveness came in touches. Apologies murmured against skin, bodies reuniting in a tangle of need and absolution. He took me rough at first, anger fueling thrusts that pinned me to the mattress, then softened to strokes that coaxed sobs from us both. "Never again," he vowed, spilling inside me, our release a seal on fragile peace. Winter whispered in, holidays attest. I met his extended family, tiays pressing tamales, uncles grilling soccer, welcoming me wary but warm. He braved my mother's Thanksgiving, her Manhattan penthouse stiff with crystal, enduring passive-aggressive jabs about life choices with grace that humbled me. Amid turkey and tension, his hand under the table grounded me, a secret anchor, but betrayal's echo lingered. New Year's Eve, champagne bubbling in Times Square's shadow, Carlos texted Michael, "One last job. Easy money. For old times." Delete. Block. But seeds of doubt sprouted. Nights Michael tossed, murmuring in sleep, my paranoia flaring at late shifts. Love, we learned, was a garden demanding weeding, not just rain. Spring bloomed tentative. I quit the firm, launching a freelance gig writing ad copy for queer brands, liberating, terrifying. Michael got promoted, his taqueria dream inching closer with saved tips. We signed a lease on a walk-up in Brooklyn Heights, boxes mingling our lives. My Kerouac beside his Lorca, suits folded with work shirts. Yet climax loomed, inevitable as thunder. One muggy June night, post-dinner at our new place, paella his abuela's recipe, wine flowing loose, my phone rang, unknown number. Emily's voice, slurred, "Your little secret's out, David. Saw you two at the parade. Lawyers got photos, leverage for more." Click. The call hung in the air like tear gas, acrid and choking. David's hand trembled on the receiver, Emily's threat coiling around us as Michael set down his fork, eyes sharpening to knives. "What did she say?" His voice was calm, too calm. the tone of a man who'd faced federals and lived. I told him, words tumbling jagged, photos from Pride, rainbow flags framing our kiss, her venom turning evidence to extortion. She wants more house, stocks, whatever. Or she leaks it to my old firm, the press. Michael's face hardened, the tattoos on his knuckles standing out as he clenched fists. Let her. You're free now, but freedom's a luxury for those without visas or histories. For us, exposure was a bomb with intertwined fuses. We didn't sleep that night. Pacing the creaky floors of our Brooklyn Airy, city lights winking conspiracy through the fire escape. We dissected it. Countersue for harassment? Deny? Gaslight? Michael's pragmatism clashed my panic. Fight dirty if she does. Until exhaustion claimed us, curled fetal on the futon. His heartbeat my metronome against doomsday. Dawn brought strategy. I lawyered up, a queer ally from the village, sharp as a stiletto while Michael worked doubles, channeling fear into folding linens with vicious precision. Tension simmered domestic, snapped words over dishes, silences thick as fog off the harbor. Sex became our refuge, fierce, reclaiming, nights where I'd drop to my knees in the shower, water cascading as I worshipped him, drawing growls that drowned doubts. He'd hoist me against tile, entering with a possessiveness that bruised sweet, whispering mine like incantation. But Emily escalated. Emails flooded. Grainy pics attached. Her scrawl demanding $200K or, "The world sees your perversion." I forwarded to counsel, nausea rising. Then the call from HR at my old firm. David, rumors circulating. Anything we should know, followed by a client pullout. Whispers of unprofessional conduct. Paranoia peaked. I scanned crowds for tales, jumped at shadows. Michael bore it stoic, but cracks showed weight loss, nightmares where he bolted awake sweating, murmuring no, not again. One night, post-argument over my obsessing, he snapped. You think this is new? I lost everything coming here. Family, home for less than this. His eyes blazed, hurt lancing through. If you're ashamed, end it. I won't beg. The words eviscerated. Ashamed? Of you? Never. I pulled him close, kiss desperate, hands roaming to affirm. We stripped slow, deliberate. His shirt peeled to reveal ribs too prominent, my fingers tracing as if to fill them. On the bed, I laid him back, mouth charting every inch, neck to navel, lingering at hips before taking him deep, savoring his arch, the salt of him on my tongue. He came shuddering, fingers bruising my scalp, then reciprocated with lips that coaxed me undone. His gaze locked, vulnerable, fierce. After, entwined, I confessed, I'm scared of losing you to this shitstorm. He cupped my face, thumb stroking stubble. Then we weather it. Together, promise sealed in sweat-cooled skin. The storm broke mid-July, heat wave baking the boroughs into delirium. Michael's shift ended early. He came home to find me hunched over laptop, face ashen. Emily's ultimatum escalated. Meet at the plaza, irony's knife twist, or she goes public, tagging my freelance clients, his employer. Fuck that, he growled, grabbing keys. We face her. Now, the cab ride uptown was silent warfare, his hand vice on mine. The plaza loomed gilded, ghosts of our beginning mocking. Emily waited in the lobby bar, elegant in linen, martini sweating condensation. David, she purred, eyes flicking to Michael with disdain. And the help. Charming. Cut the crap, I said, sliding into the booth. Michael flanking me solid. What do you want, really? Her smile was sharp. Justice. You destroyed us with your appetites. Now pay. Michael leaned in. Voice low thunder. Lady, you destroyed nothing. He was caged, you held the key. Let go. Or we drag your ass through tabloids too. Affairs, pills, whatever skeletons rattle. She blanched, bluff hit home, but rallied. Threats? From a maid. Michael's laugh was cold. Housekeeper. And yeah, threats. I've got nothing to lose. You do, reputation. Alimony if judge smells blackmail. Stalemate stretched. Jazz piano underscoring tension. Until she sighed. Defeated. Fine. Sign the revised prenup, no extras. And stay out of my life. Papers exchanged. Signatures scrawled. She swept out. Heels clicking exile. We sat stunned. Then Michael's grin broke. Wide. Victorious. We did it. Laughter bubbled. Relief fizzy as the bar's bubbles. Back in the cab. Euphoria crested. Hands wandering thighs. Kisses stolen at lights. Home. We celebrated primal. Door barely shut before he pinned me to wall. Belt unbuckled frantic. Taking me standing. Gasps echoing off brick. We're unbreakable, he panted. Thrusts deep. My nails scoring his back as we shattered together. Aftershocks trembling long. August eased the heat. Scars fading to stories. Freelance bloomed. Campaigns for marriage equality orgs. Words that mattered. Michael enrolled in night classes. Hospitality management. His taqueria blueprint sharpening. We traveled cheap. Weekend in the Hamptons. Borrowed beach house where waves lapped our tangled limbs at dawn. Salt-kissed skin under stars. But betrayal's final twist lurked. September. Goldenrod haze. Michael's phone chirped unknown. It's done. But they know your name now. Watch your back. See. Carlos. Ghost returned. Michael paled. Showing me the thread, sporadic check-ins. A final favor he'd handled solo. Wiring funds to shield family. Thought it was over, he whispered. Guilt etching lines. But he pulled strings. Immigration flagged my cousin's renewal. Leverage. Rage surged. Not at him, but the system, the endless grind. We go to the cops. He shook head. No. Feds. ICE. Ends bad. Conflict tore us. My American faith in law clashing his street-won cynicism. Nights frayed. Arguments escalating to slam doors. Make-up sex a bandage over bullet wounds. Intense but edged with desperation. Bodies slamming as if to forge unity from fracture. Climax crested October 15th. Autumn chill biting. Anonymous tip to Michael's hotel. Fraternizing with guests. Fire him. Termination swift. No appeal. Boss citing policy. Devastated. He stormed our apartment. Punching walls till knuckles bled. See? This country's promise. For who? Not us. I held him. Blood on my shirt. Whispering nonsense comforts. We'll fight. Unemployment. Lawsuit. No! His roar shook me. I'm done begging scraps. Going back, Philly. Solo. Can't drag you into my curse. Heart fracturing. I grabbed his face. Curse? You're my salvation. Tears tracked his cheeks, mixing with mine. Love you, David. But love ain't enough against this machine. He packed that night, duffel filling like a grave. I begged, bartered, promises of escape. my writing gig expanding to support us. Dawn found us on the fire escape, City awakening indifferent, his head on my shoulder. One more chance, I pleaded. He kissed me then. Slow, soul deep, a farewell etched in lips. Forgive me, he murmured, rising. Gone by noon. Doors click a guillotine. Emptiness swallowed me. Days blurred. Freelance deadlines missed. Bourbon bottles piling. Friends concerned calls ignored. I stalked his socials, Philly check-ins. Forced smiles. Texting please he read but ghosted. Betrayal inverted. Not his, but fate's. The American dream's fine print excluding us. November's bare branches mirrored my barren soul. Rock bottom hit Thanksgiving. Alone in a diner. Turkey dry as regret. When epiphany struck. Michael's words. Fight dirty. I hired a PI. Traced Carlos to a Jersey flophouse. Confronting him solo, fists. Threats. A payoff to bury the debt. Tell your handlers. Back off. Or I go nuclear. Bluff worked. Silence followed. Emboldened, I drove south. Unannounced. Philly's skyline a prodigal's beacon. Michael's new place. A studio above a bodega. Door open to his shock. Then arms enveloping. You came. No questions. Just pull. Bodies crashing in reunion's fury. Clothes shed hasty. Him lifting me to counter. Entering with a groan that healed cracks. We moved frantic. Then fervent. Every thrust a reclamation. Climaxes chaining till spent. Tangled on the rug. Reunion wasn't fairy tale. It was forge fire. Hammering us stronger. David's drive south marked surrender. Not to defeat, but denial's end. Philly embraced us patchwork. Michael's temp gig at a chain motel funding rent. My remote writing sustaining the rest. We sublet the Brooklyn walk-up. Shedding excess like snakeskin. Settling into a rhythm gritty and real. Mornings tangled in thrift store sheets. His coffee strong as his quiet strength. Evenings cooking Eras con pollo. Debating Lorca over candle stubs. Challenges persisted. Humanistic grit our glue. Michael's green card renewal loomed. Bureaucracy a labyrinth. We navigated forms side by side. His anxiety met with my research-fueled pep talks. We're legal love, I'd quip, earning eye rolls and kisses. My freelance hit snags, clients balking at personal drama. But pivots came. Pitching a memoir outline. Unexpected rooms. A love in linens. Vulnerability monetized. Winter wrapped us cozy despite drafts. Christmas in Queens. His family's table groaning with pupusas and pozole. Uncles toasting El Gringo with rum-laced punch. Acceptance hard-won but whole. New Year's. We danced in a dive bar's queer night. His hips grinding mine to reggae tone. Midnight kiss sparking a cab ride home where he rode me slow under twinkle lights strung cheap. Whispers of forever sinking with release. Spring thawed scars. Carlos's shadow faded. PI's dirt ensured silence. But trust rebuilt deliberate. Weekly check-ins. No secrets packs. Therapy sessions via app for his PTSD from crossings. My internalized shame. Sex evolved too. Playful mornings with toys ordered discreet. Role reversals where he'd tie my wrists with his old tie. Teasing till I begged. Tender nights post-fight. Bodies mending with gentle strokes. His mouth coaxing tears and ecstasy alike. Climaxes echo lingered in a June heatwave. Michael's interview for assistant manager at a boutique inn. Make or break for the taqueria dream. Nerves jangled. I paced our stoop. Chain-smoking menthols. When he burst out beaming. Offered it. With equity stake. Elation exploded. Street cart blueprints unfurled on the kitchen table. Naming it sold to Michael. My input on menus earning his proud grin. But humanism's core tested us final. July 4th. Fireworks over the Schuylkill. We picnicked on the banks. Blanket. Cooler of cervezas. His head in my lap as stars burst overhead. Remember New York? He mused. Fingers interlacing. Thought that was peak. I kissed his temple. This is unbroken. Tragedy brushed close that fall. His abuela's passing. Visa barring travel south. Grief hollowed him. I held space. Driving to Jersey for a makeshift altar. Reading Lorca poems in faltering Spanish till sobs eased. You make loss bearable, he said, curling into me that night. Our lovemaking a dirge-turned lullaby, slow rocks. His face buried in my neck. Climax a quiet sob of release. By winter's turn. Soul opened. Taqueria tucked in Fishtown. Neon sign flickering warm. Opening night buzzed. Neighbors queuing for tacos al pastor. My toast slurring tipsy. To Michael, who cleaned more than rooms, he swept me clean. Laughter. Cheers. His eyes across the crowd. Love. Unadorned. Betrayal's ghost. Emily's last barb. A tabloid whisper that fizzled. Her life unraveling in rehab rumors. We wrote her off, focusing forward. My memoir sold to a small press. Pages chronicling our collision. Raw. Redemptive. Queer as fuck. 2 years on. Spring 2027. We stood on a rooftop in Old City. Cityscape sprawling like conquered foes. Michael knelt, not supplicant, but equal ring simple platinum. Engraved siempre. Marry me, David. Make this legal. Loud. Tears blurred his face. I yanked him up, kissing fierce. Yes. 1,000 times. Wedding was us. Backyard affair in his cousin's yard. Rainbow flags snapping. Vows exchanged under an arch of salvia. I promise to fold your messes. Love your shadows. Sealed with rings and cheers. Reception spilled into street party. Salsa blasting. Bodies swaying till dawn. Life post vows? Human. Hash. Taqueria thrives. Second location brewing. My book tours East Coast. Him surprising with airport pickups. Quickies in green rooms. Conflicts flare. Money tight. His long hours clashing my deadlines. But resolutions come in talks over trace leches. Makeup in morning light. Thrusts that reaffirm. One anniversary. Back at the plaza, full circle. Comped sweet from a grateful ex-boss. We reenacted that first night. Door clicking. Towel dropping. Bodies colliding with seasoned fire. Changed everything, he murmured. Inside me deep. Rhythm our history. For the better, I gasped. Climax cresting shared. Souls sinking eternal. In America's vast tapestry. Frayed edges. Vibrant threads we wove our square. 2 men. Once alone. Now anchored. Love. Dramatic and deep. Proved not conquest but companionship. Humanistic in its quiet mending. And in the afterglow. His head on my chest. Cities hum our lullaby. I knew. The moment didn't just change everything. It birthed us.